All right, good morning, folks. Today is Monday, May 2nd. Welcome to First Things First, Simply Cyber's daily morning cybersecurity threat briefing. I'm your host, Gerald, Auger, and over the next 30 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news of the day and providing expert analysis on each of these stories. What it means to you as a practitioner, or if you're looking to break into the industry, there's something of value here for everyone. Shout out and thanks to this stream sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your company's data and derailed your business ops. Attack and get your business back on track. I want to remind you, if you hold professional certifications that require CPEs, each episode of First Things First is worth half CPE. What's up with that? Half a CPE? What am I going to do with half a CPE? Having network issues, so that's great. They stack, right? So that's 2.5 a week, 10 a month, 44 months, 120 a year if you go all in on First Things First. So all that to say that they add up. If you're live, love it. Appreciate you guys hanging with me an extra 38 minutes as I was dealing with some contractors here at the house who are still here. They're above me, actually. So thank you. If you are watching on replay, it probably didn't make any difference to you. Yeah, it looks like my network connectivity. You know what? I'm gonna plug in. Give me a second. I have a hardware Ethernet cable I can plug in. So give me a second. Let me finish the intro here. If you want to jump right to the news, go to where it's 0 on the little timer down there, and we'll start the story. Otherwise, let's hang out and have a minute. Meanwhile, you guys can watch me flounder around as I do a hardware Ethernet jack. Okay, 1 second. All right. Yes, let's go. So now we're plugged in. We're plugged into the hard line, like the Matrix. We cut the hard line. All right. Good morning. You guys are the best. You're so easy to be and understandable. Whew. Okay, guys. So the timer's there. There wasn't a lot of time for pleasantries this morning. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We are going into a new week. It's Mother's Day weekend coming up, so make sure you tell all those mothers and special women in your life how important and special they are. Let's get into the news, guys. Without further ado, if you want to play along, go to cybersecurity headlines. Go to cisoseries.com, cybersecurity headlines. I'm trying to unlock my iPad here. And that's how that will go. And let's get into the stories.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Monday, May 2nd, 2022. Top 15 exploited security vulnerabilities in 2021. An advisory co-authored by cyber authorities in the US, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the UK details the top 15 CVEs exploited by malicious cyber actors last year. The list featured 2 log4shell remote code execution bugs, a series of proxy shell and proxy logon RCE, privilege escalation, and security bypass flaws, and 4 zero logon issues. The vulns all affect widely used technologies, including Java, Microsoft Exchange Server and NetLogon, Pulse Connect Secure, and Fortinet technologies. Security experts warn that these issues are becoming more difficult to detect in hybrid infrastructure models due to requiring adoption of separate security tools for on-prem and cloud deployments.
Okay, so check this out. This is the most exploited vulnerabilities in 2021. 2 things to take away here. 1, I find this surprising. Log4shell. Remember, end of December? So first of all, this is on the list, but this came out like December 17th. So like in 2 weeks, it got on the list of most exploited for the year 2021. I find that honestly hard to believe. Secondly, did you guys ever hear a Log4Shell hack? No. I didn't really. I mean, there was a couple, but not like Proxy Shell. So, anyways, this is a little sus. Okay, this is sus being on the list. Uh, Other thing I want to point out, you should go through this list if you are responsible for an organization's security, and make sure that all of these, including the Log4 shell, make sure all of these are either not in your environment or are patched in your environment. These proxy shell ones were nasty business. This was a come in on the weekend and get it sorted out kind of thing. Again, you need on-prem exchange that was open to the internet via OWA. But long story short, go through this list, make sure that you're not susceptible to any of them, and then pat yourself on the back and dive back in.
India gives orgs 6 hours to report cyber incidents. India's Computer Emergency Response Team has issued a new directive that requires service providers, corporations, and government entities to report cyber incidents within 6 hours of detection. The mandate also requires virtual asset, exchange, and wallet providers to provide records on KYC and financial transactions for a period of 5 years. Additionally, service providers will be required to maintain 180 days worth of system logs and will need to assist India's CERT with cyber incident remediation activities. Meanwhile, cloud and VPN providers will now need to register validated names, emails, and IP addresses of their subscribers.
All
the
right.
White House wants more
Get outta here with
powers to
that
crack
noise.
down on.
Guys, 6 hours to report a cyber incident? Get out of here. Like, you're still trying to figure out if it's an actual real incident. You know what I mean? Like, or if you're dealing with a real incident, like, the last thing you want to do is stop putting a fire out to go fill out paperwork that your house is on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it that it's important to communicate, and probably their logic here behind the 6 hours is probably, oh, if faster we know, the more we can inform other people to have time to report directive in place. So I don't know if India is dealing with some stuff and this is like their best practice, but this seems outrageous, honestly. So anyways, this doesn't affect many of us. If you are in chat and you do work in India, be mindful of this, because I don't know if this is see, here's the thing. I don't know if this is like regulation and legislation, or if this is just a suggestion from the CERT. So it says it's coming from the government of India, so it sounds like it's legit. I don't know. 6 hours is wicked aggro.
Rogue drones. The White House has laid out its plans to give authorities more power to respond to nefarious drone activity, which poses risks to public safety, privacy, and homeland security. The plan proposes to expand the use of technologies that can identify and neutralize rogue drones, for example, radio frequency jammers, for federal agencies including Departments of Justice, Defense, State, and Homeland Security, as well as the CIA and NASA. In addition, state and local authorities, as well as critical infrastructure owners and operators, would have expanded authority to use anti-drone technology. Currently, non-federal entities need to seek assistance from authorized entities like DHS to respond to drone threats.
Yeah, so drones are a really nice way. I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but drones are a nice way to do surveillance, espionage, transport something into a space that isn't okay. You know what I mean? Like, say you were gonna break into like an oil and gas plant or something. You could get in yourself dressed as a janitor or whatever. Then you could use a drone later that night to fly in your tools or whatever. We've even seen some drones that can fly people in, right? So what they're saying here is, they want more power to crack down on rogue drones. I just think more standards on how to handle drones would be appropriate. I've even seen, some very elegant solutions, like they said, radio jammers. So you can either disrupt the control of the drone or take over the control of the drone, which is kind of cool. I've even seen more like less elegant, brutish solutions where, like, I've seen one where it just like shoots a net and it basically just jams up into the drone's propellers. So there's all sorts of different things here. Obviously, we just saw in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict that the Chinese company that's making those drones pulled out from making the drones because Russia was using them or weaponizing them to deliver munition payloads. So there's a lot of different use cases here. So I don't think that this is ridiculous. In fact, I actually find it kind of silly that this is happening now in 2022 and hadn't been a priority earlier, considering drones have been around for a while and people have been doing different things with them. Matt Lee's talking about the one drone attack on power with dropping 2 wires over a main substation. Yeah, exactly. Chris Rock, not the one who got slapped at the Oscars, but the one who's the Australian security researcher with Sim Monster. He gave a talk in 2016 at DEF CON called How to Overthrow a Government. Fantastic talk. You can watch it on YouTube. And he actually builds like a drone that has like saw blades in it for cutting through wires and for disabling a substation. It's a great talk.
Child neglect screening algorithm raises concerns. Concerns are being raised in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, over the controversial use of a tool which leverages a trove of personal and government data to help social workers identify and protect children at risk of neglect and abuse. A study of the tool's algorithm in its early years by Carnegie Mellon University found a pattern of disproportionately flagging Black children for investigations compared with white children, and also found that about a third of the time, social workers disagreed with the algorithm's risk scoring. Additionally, for more than 2 years, a technical glitch in the tool caused it to produce inaccurate risk scores, but that problem has since been fixed. County officials say that social workers can override the tool, but critics are concerned about relying on potentially flawed AI to make decisions that profoundly affect real families. Such algorithms are in use by a number of other states, while Illinois dropped the use of the technology due to the aforementioned concerns. And now, we'd like
Right. Listen, I get that AI is going to solve the world's problems, but you got to remember, like, it's only as good as the person who made it. And then if data gets tainted and all these other things, you run into a situation where, yeah, this sounds like a really noble cause, real righteous cause. We can use we can use AI to help detect protect children from being neglected or abused or assaulted or whatever. But when the tech is wrong, it casts, I mean, guys, if I say that you're a child predator, right? Because the technology says it, like, and you're not, that's a real hard stigma to get away from, right? Especially like assuming it's untrue, right? So you've got to be very careful employing these type of technologies. At best, these things should raise awareness for intervention for someone to actually do the manual legwork, the real work of identifying whether or not it's neglect. It shouldn't be lazy where you're like, oh, it's like this thing says it's this child's being neglected, so let's go arrest those parents. It's much more like it's saying this child's being neglected. Let's go investigate. Like, let's use this technology to help focus your resources that are limited, I'm sure, on things that may be a problem versus just straight up depending on the technology. And this is just one example. We've seen other examples of AI and machine learning and stuff that's supposed to help guide people. And ultimately people get lazy and they just rely on it. And then it starts making not false positives, but yeah, false positives. And then, you start arguing with the AI and the machine learning, right? Like courts are like, well, the technology says it is what it is. So, are you saying the tech's wrong? Which it is. Okay. So I can't pull a good example right from my hip on another one, but this is definitely a tool, not a complete solution.
thank today's episode sponsor. Ransomware is starting to become white noise in cyber news. Last week was a busy one, reminding us that ransomware remains a prominent threat. The quantum ransomware gang, first discovered in August 2021, were seen carrying out speedy attacks that escalate quickly, leaving defenders little time to react. A new ransomware gang called Black Basta has quickly accumulated victims, including American Dental Association and Deutsche Windtechnik, while flying under the radar until last week. Austin Peay State University suffered a ransomware attack and used the unusual tactic of blasting the news out on Twitter that students and faculty should shut down their computers. Meanwhile, new ransomware called Onyx was discovered, and it purposely destroys files larger than 2 megabytes, making it pointless to pay a ransom. OnLeahy, an app that serves users electronic content from their local libraries, suffered a breach at the hands of a vendor, causing theft and deletion of files encrypted with copy protection. Lockbit ransomware gang has released 100% of the stolen data, which likely indicates that OnLeahy is attempting to restore its data without paying a ransom. And finally, researchers issued a report which found that ransom payment only accounts for roughly 15% of the total cost of a ransomware attack, which also includes costs associated with incident response, system restoration, legal fees, monitoring costs, and business disruption. We can only hope for better news this week on the ransomware front.
Okay, it's a ransomware one, so here we go.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie, and a bunch of Mario coins. Listen, guys, this was a really long article about ransomware attacks just last week. And it was quite a diverse selection. So we've got quantum ransomware that's moving quickly, Black Basta, which got a huge footprint. They talked about Onyx here, just deleting people's data. So again, whether it's a reputable, which is unbelievable to say, a reputable ransomware company or a reputable ransomware gang or a, kind of punk, watch the world burn type ransomware gang, you should still just practice best practice on protecting from ransomware infection and then the ability to recover from ransomware infection. Those are really your two solutions that you should be targeting when it comes to ransomware. Obviously, it's the number one threat to all of us right now. So, the likelihood is high, the impact is high. So you can't change, you can kind of mitigate down the likelihood and the impact to make it a little bit more of an accessible risk. And I strongly encourage you to do that. One thing that you can take away from this story, they said at the very end, and I strongly encourage you to do this if you have the ability to get funds from your business. They said the cost of a ransom accounts for 15% of the total cost of a ransomware incident. So what you're saying is the average cost is about $130,000, but different ransomware gangs will, the good ones will find out what your annual revenue is and then make it 5 to 7% of that annual revenue. What you need to be able to tell your CFO or the business is, hey, listen, we have to pay for lost business, professional services, the notification if we have to send letters out, we might have to replace hardware. There's a bunch of different things besides the ransom. The ransom is just 15% of the total. So whatever the ransom is, then multiply that by 1.85, and that's your total cost, right? So keep that in mind when people are starting to throw around, oh, Colonial Pipeline paid $4.4 million ransom to DarkSide. It's like, yeah, now multiply that by 1.85, and that's the total cost to Colonial Pipeline on average, okay? It helps frame the conversation. So when you're asking for 200 grand for managed SecOps or immutable on-site data storage of backups, you can make that compelling case a bit better.
Uses Alexa voice data for targeted ads. A report released last week from researchers at University of Washington, UC Davis, UC Irvine, and Northeastern University concludes that Amazon and third parties collect data from your Echo smart speakers and share it with as many as 41 advertising partners, contending that Amazon does this in a manner inconsistent with its privacy policy. An Amazon spokesperson stated,
Jesus.
Many of the conclusions in this research are based on inaccurate inferences or speculation by the authors and do not accurately reflect how Alexa works, end quote. Alexa customers can opt out of interest-based ads from Amazon on its advertising preferences page.
Okay, couple things here. One, I want to do this to my Echo devices. I would love to throw a fireball at my Echo devices. This is gross that if this is true. Now, Amazon's pushing back and saying that this story is suspect and that the people who wrote it don't know what they're talking about. But dude, 41 third parties getting our data, that kind of sucks, honestly. And then they talk about how you can opt out of the advertising. It doesn't say that they'll stop selling it or stop listening. It just says that they'll stop sending you advertisements, which by the way, can we just hold on, let me just talk for a second. Can we just talk, give me my spice ring. Listen, can we just talk for a second? You know what sucks? I have multiple of these Echo devices. And you know what really, really sucks? It sucks when like all of a sudden it'll light up with like a yellow ring and it'll be like, boom, I have a notification for you, Jerry. And I'm like, what is it? And it's like, would you like to, like something just went on sale on Amazon. Would you like me to order it? It's like, no, I don't want you to order it. And I don't want you to like proactively try to sell me something. Yeah, I paid for you. I don't like, I'm like, this isn't like a service for me. This is annoying. Like, I don't want to be distracted by you. Just play my music when I ask you to and be quiet and remind me in 15 minutes when my muffins are done. Okay. Freaking, I hate that part. Okay. And the fact that they're selling all this data is gross. It sucks. All right. Had nothing to do with the story. Just an itch I've been having here. All right.
School district employee expelled for crypto mining. An employee of Galveston Independent School District has resigned after getting busted secretly mining cryptocurrency on school premises. Pings picked up by the district's firewall aroused the IT department's suspicion, who discovered crypto mining machines operating at 6 different school campuses without authorization. District officials confirmed that no student or staff data has been compromised and that no action has been taken against the individual whose identity has not been released. However, as part of the ongoing investigation, findings could still be shared with the district attorney's office. And that does it.
Interesting. So a Texas school district employee has tendered their resignation. You know, pretty strong. They must have been either... Okay, so here's a little bit of a hot take. Like, I have found people trying to mine crypto in my environment. I have found malicious actors who have compromised browsers and had cryptojacking mining going on. And you would just get like your hand slapped, obviously, right? Like slapped really hard. And if you continued to do it, then you would get terminated. So for this individual to get fired or basically forced to quit, which is basically a nice way of firing someone, they must have either had a zero tolerance policy, or here's my hot take. This person was a pain person, like a pain in the ass type person. And this was a great way to be like, you know what? Enough of your shenanigans, Carl. You're done here. Especially since this unknown person was able to arouse the IT department. Oh my goodness. So anyways, crypto mining, it's a thing, especially like if you think about this, crypto mining takes a ton of power. The reason that I don't want that one. Give me this one. The reason that we don't do crypto mining like everybody across the country is because the amount of energy it takes to mine versus the amount of value you get from a Bitcoin when you mine it or whatever coins, it's not a net positive return on your investment, right? So you would spend more money on energy than you would on the Bitcoin if you even get one. So that's why people don't just do it ad nauseum. But if you get these large, mining farms that people do like up in Iceland and stuff, then there is value in it. But for the most part, it's not what you would think. So, but if you have the IT department, if you use a company's resources that you pay zero for, well, then there you go. It's all profit. Right. So that's what this individual was doing. They probably didn't like their job, probably a pain in the butt. And now they out of a job. So see ya. All right.
A cybersecurity headlines.
Oh, and that's going to do it for today's stories. Thank you all for hanging with me, for checking out this story about how this person aroused the IT department in Texas. Interesting. Reminder. Oh, hey, Decido CSUM. My face is covering it up, but we got a new squad member. So thanks for joining the squad, Decido CSUM. You can see my chat connect. So obviously having some network connectivity issues that I need to engage. Guys, this Thursday, Dr. John Helmus, recently minted Dr. John Helmus, pen testing expert, cloud security expert, also wicked tatted, inked up guy is coming on. We're going to be talking, is tattoos okay in the modern corporate world? Did you know, fun fact, how many tattoos do I have? 2. I have 2 tattoos, and I'm looking to get a sleeve done. So make that 3, if you can believe it. So we're going to come on. This is going to be another fun one like we did with Stacy Loki. We're going to be talking about, because here's the thing. People are like, oh, yeah, no, tattoos are cool. We see them all the time now. Okay, can you have a tattoo on your wrist? Is that okay? Nice little flower? Okay. What about tattoo on your neck? What about your face being tattooed, right? What about, like every part of your body being tattooed? What if the tattoos are unsettling on what they are, right? It's like a naked lady straddling the devil's tongue, holding his horns, right? Like, I mean, is that okay? Like, it gets really, really subjective very, very quickly. It's easy to say, yeah, tattoos are cool. I see them all the time. It gets subjective quickly. So who decides tasteful? Are they taboo? We're going to have this great conversation, and I invite you. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it technically yet, but I invite you to submit your own tattoo pictures, right? And I'll bring them up on stream. Maybe we'll have like a rotating like slideshow going. And by the way, no D pics, please. Like, I'm not going to be screening these pics ahead of time, so don't be a jerk and drop something inappropriate in there and ruin it for everybody. But we'll highlight your tattoos. We'll be doing a lot of chat engagement, bringing up conversations. It's going to be a really, really fun conversation, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you can join us for that on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, I appreciate you all being with us today as we dealt with some of the challenges. We got started a little late. It is Monday, May 2nd. I hope you all have a great day. Let me do one more some Mario coins for everybody. Guys, this is First Things First. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.